essentially, what I need to do is help us all create a sense of confidence. Confidence. You know, invariably, each day of the week, something will happen that you will be put upon, stressed, or put under pressure. Now, and it's at these times that we have to find our confidence mode. And it's like, we had, well, how can you put it? You have to move into action, step into action, and you can't let that circumstance or condition overwhelm you, push you back, or put you under further stress. I mean, the conditions or the circumstances are going to be stressful enough, but I encourage you, and now this is a prelim to what we were talking about, but I just need you to know that in your business endeavors, in your day to day, you are, just point to yourself. I am the most important. I am the most important. You're the most important. You know how in an airline trip, the airline contender says to you, if you're traveling with people, put your own air mask on first. You're the most important. If you're caring for other people, care for yourself. And that never let yourself, if you can help it, be threatened, pushed back, or put upon. And also realize when you're, involved in any endeavor, step forward with bold courage and ambition. You are it. You have what you need. You can do what you need to do. You can overcome the challenges that you need to overcome. And you hear well. I have a friend of mine who's in Birmingham. We had a prayer for him earlier, and he's blind. But we're not blind, and we can see all that we need to see. And that means we can hear all we need to hear. All your senses are alive, which is quite amazing. So I'm going to ask a question, and three questions. The first question is which will help us put to rest last year, 2025, as we're sitting here in perfect peace. I want you to think about the things that just one thing that you were able to let go last year that you're grateful that you let go of. One thing, and I'm not going to ask you, but I just need you to know it. What were you able to let go of last year that you're so grateful that you let go? And it may be the initiative that got you where you are now. Okay. Now, you got that, right? Everybody got that? Everybody got that? You got what you were able to let go of, Okay. Now, I need you to think about what you're trying to capture this year. What you're trying to capture this year. We're taking no prisoners. Taking no prisoners. We're taking no prisoners. This is what you need to capture this year. Maybe you want more customers. Maybe you want a wider audience. Maybe you want to read more books. Maybe you want to increase your exercise regime. Maybe you want to maximize your hourly work effort. Just one thing. I need you to identify what that is. And now that one thing may have different subterfuges. So I need you to understand what that is. I need you to get what that is. Okay, and how important it is. Okay? You got it? Okay, now and then we're gonna have now, I'm not gonna explore that. I'm not gonna explore that personally with you. I just need you to know it. I need you to know it. Because at the end of the day, what it's going to do is improve your confidence level. You have all that you need. You can do all that you need. And what you can conquer, you can conquer. Now, in one of the pericles in the Bible, it's Romans 8:25. It begins, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I have all confidence, and we are more than conquerors. We are more than conquerors. That means that what you're challenged by, you can achieve. what you're challenged by, you can achieve. Now, we get older, and we're not going to let even age challenge us. We're not going to do it. We have the good pleasure of working with a physician in America in the year 2054, 455,000 people, 455,000 people will be over 100 years old. 100 years old. So, and we're saying that at 100 years old is not the threshold that we stop. And if you're working and you're engaged, it could be where you really begin. Life could really envelop for you. And wouldn't it be great that if you were the smartest person in your entire community, and they were, I don't know if you would want that, but they would all come to you for solutions, like who are you gonna call? They say, let's call Robin. She knows. Or let's call Heather. She knows. And depending upon your relationship with the community, you decide whether you want to be looked at or viewed that way or considered. And it's a good thing to be a resource. It's a great thing to be a resource. But, and you need to be careful about who you're considered a resource to. You know what I mean? Because you don't need everybody's time and attention that way. That means at the drop of a hat. Well, a fly, a fly came into my house. What do I do? Well, you should get the fly swat like everybody else does. Or you open the door and let the fly out. So the point of the matter is you need to consider what you're a resource to, who you're a resource to, and what you'll be able to do with that. Now, I mean, just like you have your Rolodex. You have your Rolodex of people, what was that, like the Ghostbusters? Who you gonna call? Who you gonna call? So I suggest to you that you be first and foremost, be your own resource. Now, I tell my wife all the time, my wife has got, now she's brilliant. My wife is brilliant. I give her credit for that. But now, until she married me, I don't know if I was that kind of work that she needed. She would ask everybody for everything. I said, honey, you're smart enough, figure it out. You can do it yourself. You don't need to ask anybody. Like once we were going to a conference. And this is a true story. We were going to a conference, and my wife says to me, and this is where, I don't know if I proved the point or not, but it was just in New York. My wife would always stop and ask everybody else how to get someplace. I said, why do you do that? You don't know where these people are going, and you don't know what they know. And whenever you ask somebody how for directions someplace, if they do this, let me think. And it takes too long, you need to keep on walking. You need to keep on walking because everybody doesn't know how to get everywhere. So, and if you can rely on your own safe skills and support, you will be fine. And so, consequently, me and my wife, we were going someplace.
Talking about me.
Yeah, we were going someplace, and she said, "Let me ask so and so." I said, "Honey, this is how you do it. Let's go here." I said, "No, that's not how we do it." And she said, "No, but I believe that's how you do it." And so I said, "I tell you what, and let's prove the point once and for all." Now I don't know. I guess I was being stubborn. She was being stubborn. But finally, she decided, well, I'm going to do it this way. Okay, tell you what you do. You do it your way. I'll do it mine. And let's just see who gets there first.
Right. Well, there's a second part of the story, and that is that I grew up in India, and I had maids who did everything for me. They combed my hair in the morning. They, massaged me. My clothes were ironed and put in front of me, and I was dressed up. I never went to a store like Macy's or Bloomingdale's where you picked a dress out of a rack because All my clothes were tailored for me. I had large feet. I was a tall woman. And so the normal size of shoes in India didn't fit me. So I had to have a cobbler make special shoes for me. So I never went to a shoe
That's
store
no
and I
excuse.
never sat in a shoe until I came to America. When I came to America, I had a culture shock. I was like, what? I didn't know my
Have to do it all
size.
yourself.
And I know a lot of women identify with this. You go into the store and you don't know what size you wear. You don't even know what color you like. And you really have an identity crisis. So I wore black for a very long time because I had lost my parents and my
Okay, go ahead.
brother.
Cut to the chase.
And so it was easy then. Just wear black, and then you don't have to worry about which color looks good on you or not. But when I married Elton, he started making me move faster and expect to do more for myself. And he's right. I used to go to the library, use the computer there. He said, why don't you get your own computer? And I was like, get my own computer? And I was like, okay. Then I got my own computer. And then he said, I didn't know how to use Word or Excel. And he was like, why don't you learn how to use this yourself? You don't need to ask people for help. And so that's true. And so I think that's true for everybody. You've really got to spend time to get to know yourself and find that you can do the impossible. You can do all these things and you never knew you could do it. You never knew you had it in you. So he's right. It was a huge thing. And marrying him was a huge thing for me too.
So,
So,
the point of reference is we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. And there's no item that you're more than conquerors. You're
right.
capable, you have the brilliance, you have the foresight, and but it doesn't mean that you can't ask people for help if you need it. But first, use that noggin that my father used to tell me, and I'll never forget it as long as I live. He said, and I hear him still say it, use your head for something besides a hat rack.
So it's
You,
true.
use it. I mean, we have brilliant minds.
All right.
Brilliant
So
minds. So
let's
that,
go around the room. And did you all do
no, no, no,
2025
no.
release?
Yeah, we talked about that.
Okay,
Now,
let's go to 2026.
no, no,
Start.
no, 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 no. No, I
Yes.
said we were letting things go, and then we were going to
All right.
conquer for the future.
All right.
Okay.
So let's take a
I
minute.
didn't ask them what it was.
All right.
Uh-huh.
So does anyone want to share what they're letting go, or shall we just breathe and do a meditation?
She comes in, and that's how she says it.
Yeah.
Okay, very good, very good.
Does anyone want to share?
Ah, okay, go ahead.
Heather?
So I actually I let it what I actually did want to share that segues perfectly into what you said and what Anu just said is that at the end of 2025, I did create that meditation to help people get rid of beliefs, limiting beliefs that had been holding them. So many of those beliefs are traditional beliefs that are not even our own, and there were things that we were taught, especially the cultural ones, which both you and Anu mentioned. I was just like, my goodness, that was such. And I created, so it's an 8.5 hour meditation that I have posted on YouTube. I think it has like just over 700 views now.
Ooh.
And I'm happy to share that. But yes, it was about those limiting beliefs that many times we believe things that aren't even ours and we don't even realize that. And I remember in not I remember in this book, I do say that as one of the, I think it's my second chapter. Do you believe it because it's the truth, or is it the truth because you believe it? And so it just becomes so much of our psyche, and it's controlling what we're doing without even realizing that. And so I did create that overnight meditation because that is when we are at our most open, where our subconscious mind can be worked on, because that's where all of that stuff lives. So, yes. My release, so with that though, my release for 2026 was just the uncertainty of, I wasn't sure that I was able to serve in the way that I truly genuinely wanted to. And quite literally within the first week of this year, I it was just the smallest shift in realization. And I was just like, oh my gosh, that's it, that's it. And I understood that I needed to create the ecosystem, which I did, which is the create your own table ecosystem. And once I did that, I was like, that's it. Like I said to you when we spoke a couple days ago, I was like, Elizabeth, this is all I'm doing. This is it. There is nothing else that needs to be done. This is my blueprint.
Yeah, and as Elton said earlier, Heather, you have arrived. there
Absolutely.
comes a
Thank you.
time in your life where you've reached that point that you have arrived, and now it's time to share. So you have arrived as an expert. You've written 3 books. You've searched the world, and you have found that mastermind blueprint. And so it's time for you now to share it and explore it. So yes, I agree with you.
And more
Thank
importantly, now you can do this for someone else and
Yes.
other people.
Absolutely. And
Right.
that's what the ecosystem does.
Right.
So
Yes.
thank you
Right.
for that. Yeah,
Yes.
that was my release.
Mhm.
When we came up with the name Discover Brightside, and we were so excited about it, and we were like, we're going to discover. And then somebody said, but then there's a legacy. So, okay, you've discovered it, you've got the secret, you've found the sauce that works for you, and now you start to share it and start building your legacy. So, I think this blueprint is really good. So, anyone else wants to talk about a release for last year so that we can get into 2026?
Okay.
Okay, Robin.
Thank you. I think for me it was those subtle shifts, kind of like you're talking about there, Heather, really subtle shifts of belief and that idea that we can let go of the fears because the fears aren't ours. The fears are, like you were saying, those beliefs that we only believe because, as Abraham Hicks has said, a belief is just a thought you keep thinking.
Mhm.
And if we've taken on board that belief when we were tiny, maybe from our caregivers, that we don't question,
Mhm.
but then we can get to the point where we start to go, is that real? Does that really apply to my life? And it's amazing when you get to the age that I'm at and you're only starting to do that with some of your beliefs. You've just held them for so long, they've just been so much a part of who you are. And then you realize it's not even mine. I can let that go. So for
That's
me, it
amazing.
was that one of those subtle shifts of just, I can let that go because that's not me.
That's amazing. And that thought and your perspective, it makes me understand that perhaps down the road, as a matter of fact, those thoughts and beliefs you could just pull over like a dump truck. Let all that go, man. Let all that go. I don't need that anymore. It doesn't serve me, and it keeps me from traveling long distances. Because if you got a whole truckload full of nonsense, emotional beliefs and circumstances, and things like that, man, it's like dropping 25 pounds. Man, I feel like I can run now. I can run. I can go further distances. I can do greater things. And my whole psyche is lifted. And so, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Heather, go ahead.
Uh-huh.
If I may just share one thing quickly, and I feel like this is worth a program. I'm not telling you how to do your podcast, but this is worth its own program because a lot of people hold on to things exactly like Robin touched on. It could have been a caregiver, somebody that you love, somebody you value. You realize that you need to release that thing to move forward, but then you're afraid that that person will feel as though you are abandoning them because you're needing to abandon this thing that they taught you, and it's creating that balance in yourself where you're like, this is not me letting go of my love of you. But so many people, and I've seen that countless times, they're like, I can't do these things because it was my mom, it was my sister, it was my father, it was whoever it is that they love. And they're like, if I go against that, then they're going to feel this. And it's just like finding that place is a job in and of itself. That's actually one of the things that I cover in that overnight meditation as well, because it's finding that strength within you to realize that no, to choose me doesn't mean that I disconnect from you. It just means that I'm doing this differently.
That's an
That's so
amazing
true. To
point.
recognize what is ours and to honor what's ours is not lessening
Crazy.
our honor and
No,
our reverence for somebody else, but also it's recognizing that we're only ready when we're ready. So,
right.
not to
Exactly.
beat ourselves up if
Exactly.
we recognize suddenly, I am still carrying this, like
Yes.
myself, 50, nearly 8 years old, and I'm still carrying this. I'm
Yes.
only seeing it because we need to see it or feel it in order to be able to let it go.
You
Recognize that
know,
it's not mine and let it go.
but
But
the
that
thing
just
about
happens when we're ready.
the thing about that is the people that love you and are concerned with your overall state of mind and health, they're okay with it because they want to see you prosper anyway. They want to see you prosper, and it's a matter of release and freedom in terms of it's a new genre. I mean, every day we get better and get better and get better and get better. In a way that is phenomenal. In a way that's phenomenal. You look at
Yeah.
things now not from a harnessing, but a liberation of sorts, and that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's really quite phenomenal. I'm steamed by that. That's great dialogue. That's very
Yeah.
detailed too.
Anyone before we move to the next topic? Anu, Grace, Amelia, anything for your clients too, if you want to release something. What should we be releasing from 2025? What's in your way? Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I think sometimes it's, there's obviously the mental part of it, but then there's also the physical part of it. And sometimes it's really just clutter. Like in my work with feng shui, energy and chi really needs the space to move, whether that's through your home, through your office space. It can be, from the very macro down to like the smallest micro, just like your desk. So something that people should take a look at is just focusing on getting rid of some clutter in their space, especially if it's in a space that you feel stagnant in, like your office space. Maybe you're having trouble moving forward with certain projects. Take a look at your desk. Um, do you have old paperwork? Do you have unfinished to-do piles? Do you even have digital clutter? Do you have tons of different icons and folders and everything on your computer that you feel like you need to organize, and that's kind of like keeping you, like frozen? Any kind of like clutter or chaos that might be holding you back from moving forward, you really want to take a look at. You don't have to purge everything. It doesn't have to be like a huge endeavor, but just enough to, symbolically show that you're ready for something new and that you're ready to allow like new, fresh, positive energy and opportunities into your life.
Very good advice. Very,
mm-hmm.
very, especially the computer thing is so true. We have so much stuff on our desktop and we can't find anything. Anu, I saw you were trying to turn your mic on.
Oh, hi. Yes, yes. So I think like, yeah, so with me, what I'm releasing is just the need to like, for external validation. It's just, surrendering to whatever it is that serves me, rather than the need to show others, what I'm capable of, because that's obviously from the ego. It's very fear-based, isn't it? So I'm now going into 2026 to just let my intuition guide me, and only do what brings me joy, what fulfills me, not what I feel is expected of me. So
Wonderful. Well, one of the things Grace taught me is like I had a big, huge box of jewelry, and having her piece in my jewelry collection was precious. The gems, the handmade, knowing her. And I started to realize that you don't need all this jewelry. You need one or two pieces that really speak out to your personality, to who you are. It's decluttering. In fact, Grace, I've been wearing that your jewelry all through the holidays, and that's why I'm not wearing it today. But it is so beautiful and so personal that I've realized that having a jewelry consultant or clothing consultant is so important. Instead of having a whole wardrobe of so many clothes that you never ever wear, give them away, give them to charity. And of course, if they are not in good condition, just throw them out. Please only donate good quality clothes to charity, because those volunteers have to go through all these reams and reams of clothes to organize it. So that is something. And tell us a little bit about how you've recycled your lovely packaging with the jewelry, Grace. So
Thanks for
declutter.
yeah, thanks for bringing that up. That's actually been a great way that I decluttered. Like I had some clothes that had bleach stains or other laundry boo-boos or rips or otherwise not wearable. And like Elizabeth said, don't be a waz bag. Strategically get rid of those, don't just donate them. And so instead of donating the less than stellar stuff, I cut them up and made them into drawstring bags that I package my jewelry in. And as a wildlife biologist, I appreciate the need for sustainability, and I know textile waste is a huge problem. And so was like, okay, why not repurpose those beat up textiles for these bags for jewelry making? And I actually sometimes I'll go to the thrift store and I'll find pieces of clothing that most people would say, this has a giant rip or another boo boo on it, and they wouldn't buy it. So it's like, okay, I'll buy that one and repurpose it and leave the stuff that's in good shape for people who would buy to wear it.
Wow. See, there you have it. Declutter. And that's a great one for releasing 2025. And January is a great month because, some of us have a lot of clients in January and a lot of business, but it's also a good month to just, reset and get yourself together. And I see Anu has a little guest for us. So that was adorable. We do have a children book club with
Oh,
children therapists too. We should have her come on for that. Yeah, so that would be great. Yes. So hi, hello. She's probably on your podcast too. Yes. No,
no,
this is her
because my
first time
the
debut.
first time.
Okay. Hi. All right. So we have a guest on our show. Pooja, we're doing a fireside chat. Welcome. You are the first on our show today. So, what I'll do is, I mean, your first time on our show is I'll let you do a quick intro. We were covering 2025, releasing it, and we're getting into 2026. And so, are you ready to record or do you want to ease into it?
We can record. Good morning, everyone.
Good
Hi.
morning, everyone. Okay. All right. Let me quickly
Can you
stop
guys
my.
hear me okay?
Yes.